Now, when I read this, I was like, no, they have sexual intercourse. Okay, that is very normal. No, chat, they mean the other body count, like as in the body count of no longer being on this plane of existence body count. So guys, let's get down to some of our big news today. And first up, guys, I want to talk about Gumpai. Now, guys, just a quick little reminder for what we're going to talk about today. This does involve really, really heavy subjects, okay, chat? So just a warning for you all before we dive into it. I want to remind you all of Gumpai. Who the is Gumpai, chat? Well, Gumpai is a creator. So this is Gumpai, chat, over to the left. Gumpai is, or was, I'm sorry, a creator that made some racist remarks against somebody that made a fan plushie. This person made a fan plushie for them. Gumpai was very upset they did that. They weren't making money off of it. And a person was using their image to scam them, basically. Now, guys, look. Making fan merchandise is a huge part of VTuber culture. It's definitely nothing wrong. Definitely went after a lot of people, hurt a lot of people. Very notorious, right, chat? Said some racist things. Tried to come back multiple times. Kind of unapologetic. Then was apologetic. So on and so forth, right, chat? Well, I want to give you some information here. Muji made a big video about it. Well, guys, this is Mirio Maki. Now, why am I showing you Mirio Maki, chat? What does this have to do with anything, guys? Well, that is right, guys. I got some bad news for you. Mirio Maki is Gumpai. That is right. And I do highly recommend you go watch Mujin's video on it. It's actually really good. This was the initial post about Gumpai, but I'll give you just a little bit more of a reminder. Got a crash out of her fan making a plushie. Independent VTuber. They have an extreme version of the girlfriend experience, openly racist. You can't even talk to them on Discord without paying them. If you're a woman, they'll ban your name because they're that narcissistic. I mean, again, very crazy person, right, chat? Well, they are back and they are under this new account, Mirio Maki. So let's go take a look here at their letter, chat, and what they had to say to everybody. Hi, everyone. I know this is coming out of nowhere to most of you, but something happened recently and feel the need and clear everything up. To be upfront, I am the reincarnation of another VTuber. I was previously a very controversial person for many reasons. We're going to talk about that girlfriend experience stuff here in just a second, because that plays a large part into this whole conversation. I lied, bullied, and overall did many things to upset a lot of people, and now people that previously were victims of my past behavior have found me again. It is people who would apologize so heartily for my past behavior and mistakes that I have made. Oh yeah, she's crazy. I recognize that I've hurt you and many others, and while my apology alone will make up for it, I vow to make up for my past mistakes with future growth. I would also like to apologize to my new followers for lying about being new to this space, and I hope that you can all forgive me and have patience for me with this very sudden announcement. If any of you decide to unfollow me now knowing all this, I understand completely. I don't feel like this should be coming back. Yeah, I don't feel like this should be coming back. Yeah, I thought that was weird, because, like, Shaylong, I was like, don't you already follow me? But makes sense you have another account. I want to keep showing me being a VTuber. It's what I love doing more than anything, but I recognize that to do so, I must be accountable for my past actions. Well, I feel like if you want to be accountable for your past actions, coming back as a VTuber is part of that as well. Like, you should not come back. That's part of taking accountability, taking time to grow, and do better, you know what I mean? As Mirio Maki, I promise I will never repeat my past actions, and I will continue to prove that I've changed and continue on this new path of positivity. I appreciate and I am incredibly grateful to each and every one of my followers, and I hope that you all love this new me. Look, I feel like it's okay to want to do better and grow. That's awesome, right? And to allow people to change and grow is wonderful. And I feel like everybody deserves that chance, right? This person clearly has a lot of problems, and I hope that they get help for it. But let me tell you, being a VTuber right now is not the answer, bro. Absolutely not the answer. You need to take a lot more time. All this stuff happened, just 7 months ago? Yeah, I will say it once, I'll say it again. 7 months is not enough time to change. I'm sorry. You literally did so many horrible things to people. This is not enough time. You need to go step away from VTubing, go do your own thing for a long time, and actually work on yourself. Being a VTuber is not the answer to get help. You were already putting others in toxic situations. You were in a toxic situation yourself by doing this behavior. You need to actually go step away. Yeah, would blackmail people with like their pee-pee pics. I didn't ever hear about that originally, but I kind of don't doubt it. I even know who Gumpai was still. Yesterday, Mirio's persona is so different from Gumpai. Yeah. And again, like, that's fine if you want to do better and improve yourself. We love that here. We want you to do that. But not as a VTuber right now. It's not been enough time. You need to step away. So anyway, this person, of course, came out. A lot of people were like, holy shit. I feel like part of the action behind this is realizing it's too soon for you to come back. You know what I mean? Anyway, chat, this kind of came out, and of course, I'm like, well, we'll talk about this, right, chat? This person coming back, this is obviously a really, really bad thing. However, chat, this took a absolute turn for the worst here. Now,
hello everyone, this is your favorite chat companion, dear Ara. I hope you remembered to ring the notification bell for Lara's videos. I know it would really make her happy if you let her know in the comments below what you thought about this video. That's all I have for now. Let's get back to your favorite elf.
Obviously, we don't know how true this is 100%, but it does not look good. Let's go take a look here, guys. And it's just coming from Proctor Z. Now, I was reading like some stuff about this on Reddit. I don't really know much about Proctor. Some people were saying they don't trust Proctor and things like that. The evidence is outside of Proctor, so I don't know anything about Proctor. I don't have any opinion about this person, but I do want to share this information because it's a pretty big deal, chat. So Proctor says, quote, retweeting this, for the curious, this VTuber is Gumpai. Gumpai is a notoriously insane VTuber. Once started a fight with a famous plushie maker, Kusa, slandering them multiple times. Gumpai was also caught with a boyfriend after building an entire brand. I'm being a single girlfriend experience streamer who dated her viewers. I'm sorry, I did not mention that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that part. They were caught with a boyfriend, and then that's why they pretty much ultimately left. However, most significant of all, Gumpai has a body count. Now, when I read this, I was like, so they have sexual intercourse, okay? That is very normal. No, chat, they mean the other body count. Like, as in the body count of no longer being on this plane of existence body count. At least one of her fans is no longer alive and blamed her in their exit note. Her emotional manipulation and psychopathic behavior have been well documented by numerous sources, including my own website. Receipts will be in the replies to this post. Do not be fooled. The reason Gumpai is trying to reincarnate is because she's lazy, toxic, and too narcissistic to get a real job. I very rarely call out VTubers directly. In this case, I sincerely believe there's no coming back for Gumpai. You do not change overnight after years and years of deliberate, premeditated acts of maliciousness. I agree. The only reason she is admitting to any of this is because she knows the evidence is overwhelming and that she is betrayed, attacked, and insulted. Enough people that pretending it never happened isn't an option. When they say body count, they mean a relation to people that are no longer alive. A retractor overtures ignore apologies, but she puts her foot in the door and stamp on it violently until it retracts. So that is what they mean. I want to show you right here. Again, at least one of her fans is no longer alive and blamed her in their exit note. So guys, we are going to take a look at this evidence behind this really quickly. So again, I warned you, this is very heavy. So this comes from the original OP who posted this. Says, the person I'm quoting is an ex-Gumpai fan. This is the last tweet and the images of the tweets before it. It was posted 3 days ago. I fear the worst may happen no matter what anybody says. I will forever denounce romantic parasocialism. So, guys, I am going to give you my thoughts on this. Let me read all of this first, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So, let's go take a look here at some of the messages that the OP put. I'm not going to read a lot of these out loud because they're very dark, but I'm all alone this time. I'm 3 hours away from my parents. They can't stop me. I want one last hug, but there's nobody around me. I'm all alone. This is nobody's fault of my own. I'm not blaming anybody for the way I feel. It's my fault for being an idiot and getting too attached to somebody I barely knew. It's not the person itself that made me feel this way. It was just the way I was easily gotten rid of. I finally felt like I was wanted. I knew it was fake, but it was the first time in my life where I had fun with somebody, enjoyed talking to them, and I was disposed of so easily without a second thought. The whole time during my shift today, all I could think about was how I was going to do it and what I want to say to my parents before I go. I don't remember the last time I've cried so much, but I really needed to tonight. I really don't think I can go on for much longer. Obviously saying, I don't know why it all came crashing down today. I didn't get genuinely over. I'm in so much pain, I can't stand it. My head hurts, my heart hurts, my chest hurts. I just wanted to stop. I mean, obviously, I'm bawling like a child. What kind of man does that? Very, very dark stuff here, chat, as you can see. I was checking up on him ever since the Gumpai expose happened, but I'm not professionally qualified to aid somebody with these kind of thoughts. If there was a little I could do, I feel a pit in my stomach as I write all this. No amount of positive parasocialism is worth that. Meanwhile, even right now, Gumpai just does her online activities like the whole thing was a joke. And that is because it is to her. The VTubers themselves really suffer any meaningful consequences for hooking their viewers up, romantic about not thinking about them as much. Of course, Gumpai just talking about like the racism thing. I'm not racist. I'm sure you know how Latinos have their territorial instincts against each other in neighboring country. That's what I have with Asian countries. They were talking about where they were caught up for being racist against the plushie maker. Anyway, my VTuber model doesn't even look ace, and should stop. Better VTuber world, I'm strong sometimes. Again, just kind of going on and on, like it was kind of nothing, right? What the VTuber just doesn't have a boyfriend matters not. The viewers take the relationship much more seriously than the streamer. Seeing him is not the only example I've seen by far. Simply put, a VTuber losing one fan is not the same as a fan losing their one VTuber. I guarantee you that every single VTuber that invites romantic parasocialism is also inviting at least one person who will end it all if their commitment to them is not equal. And by them, I really mean them only, not the collective of viewers as a faceless entity. I understand this may be hard to read and accept as either one of those other VTubers or one of their fans, but I've observed this space long enough to know that this case is far from an isolated reality, and I'm not about to wait for a second victim to speak up about it. In all fairness, I also know of one such VTuber saved a viewer from unaliving. I recognize this to be a possibility too. Coincidentally, I also know that said viewer commitment to that VTuber is again much bigger than the VTubers. I can only wonder how that will end. Gambling with people's lives by letting this go unspoken about, and something needs to change. I'm just some guy, and I may have sailed to save a life. It is not a feeling I would wish upon anybody, and even other people I despise the most. Help me make people give a fuck about this. Anyway, chat, unfortunately, I was not acting this because I definitely would have, taken a look at this. So I think the question kind of people are obviously going to seem like, Gumpai didn't make this person no longer be on this plane of existence, right, chat? However, I believe that Gumpai probably contributed to the conditions and the environment that led them to do that, right? Obviously encouraging and enabling through the very possessive and obsessive type of behavior. It obviously was very, very unhealthy. And I feel like that ultimately may have led to this person no longer being on this plane of existence, right? I know that Gumpai did not make this person do it. However, I don't really feel like they should be free of guilt from it. Just because, I don't think that Gumpai is innocent in this, and I do feel like there should be some guilt put on them. But I also think it's a dangerous line to toe to be like, oh my god, we have to put the responsibility on VTubers about their fans' mental health. Because, guys, at the end of the day, I can't be responsible for all of my community's mental health. That's not possible, right, chat? It's literally impossible. I can't be responsible for that. But I do feel like, allowing this type of really obsessive behavior, allowing to exploit it, contributing to these conditions, obviously does weigh a bit on Gumpai here. So that's my thoughts about it. Even though she didn't unalive the person directly, I think they should be still held accountable for how they influence the audience. Exactly. I think that's basically what I'm kind of poking at, Chaco. Also, at the same time, I do want to make sure that we are looking at both sides of the coin where we cannot be responsible for all of your guys' mental health. I really cannot. But if I'm promoting a toxic and a horrible environment, then I feel like you should be held accountable for that just a little bit, And in this situation, this person they're no longer around. And it seems like this parasocial girlfriend experience weighed into a lot of the reason that these things were encouraged. They were enabled, and of course they are no longer here, chat. So it's a really, really sad situation. It's tragic. There's no other word for it. It's tragic. Yeah, I mean, it is a personal responsibility. Obviously, Gumpai did not make that choice for them, but nonetheless, they did add into the ability for it to happen, again, to be enabled, and that is absolutely the saddest part about it. So, chat, this definitely took a huge turn in a direction I was not expecting at all. But I did at least want to share this with you all because
it's not
your
important responsibility, but it is a creator's responsibility to not create a toxic environment that negatively impacts the people within it or actively encourage unhealthy behavior.
Yep.
Gunpai 100% encouraged
that behavior,
and
right?
Unhealthy parasocial behavior and hypocrisy in her audience.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a tough line to toe because it's we want to be responsible and make sure that we're not enabling these horrible kinds of things. But also, at the same time, we can't really be held accountable for your guys' mental health, right? But there is a line there, and it's hard to tell. It's hard to kind of draw that line in the sand, right? Because the shores are constantly washing up. But at the same time, as a person, right, I feel like we have a moral obligation to not create these types of toxic environments and to enable these things to happen, right? So I did want to let you know about this, chat. Obviously, I would have been happy to report on it had I seen it before, and I just didn't, and it absolutely sucks. So it's very, very tragic, but I want to let you know about this development because it's important to hold people accountable for things that they have done. You know what I mean, chat? I mean, I only do is just preach my thoughts. So, but this was really tragic situation, chat. Really, really dangerous. And so I want to talk about today and let you guys know. Obviously, make your own decisions about it. I'm just informing you. I told you my opinion on it, as I always do. And just be careful, guys. That's it. I would never want any of y'all to end up like that. It's sad. It's tragic. And as somebody who is very close to something that is very near and dear to me, of people no longer wanting to be of this earth, chat, and having to experience that and go through that with people that are close to me, it's horrible. It's very hard.